Hi all, welcome back. So a little overview of some design tips. We've covered a fair amount of formatting options and I know some of them are quite time consuming, but spend the time and your dashboards will be professional, easy to understand and so on. With a bit of thought and planning, the process will soon speed up. So I'm going to share a few tips for professional looking dashboards using some of the functionalities from Power BI. So let's have a new page, call it SCQF breakdown, and then just add a single card. Just use a simple one for this, and you add the field SCQF level. We're going to make 6 copies of this, so we'll make sure this one's absolutely perfect, and then duplicate it. First thing to sort is a summarization. Remember, Power BI doesn't care what the data is about. In this case, SCQF level described the level, and yet PBI holds the data as a number, so it doesn't make sense to add them up. Change sum to count. Format paint from a previous card. And we're also going to be very specific about the size. We want 7 of these in a row. So in the format options, if you open up properties, force each card to be 180 pixels by 180 pixels. Add a title SCQF3. If you're awake, you'll be our rise. At the moment, it doesn't show just SCQF3. At the moment, it's a count of all SCQF levels. If you've got your filter pane closed, and I do this quite a lot if I'm on a smaller screen, open it up using those chevrons. And you've got 3 options for adding a filter. Filter on this visual, that's only there if you've got that visual selected. You can do a filter on all pages or just on one page. Drag SCQF level back into the filters. Now I know we've got count of SCQF level already in there, but we want to filter by the specific level. It may show advanced filtering by default. Change to basic and choose 3. So now your card just shows you how many SCQF3 levels there are. Now right click on the card, choose copy visual, then Control V to paste and do that 6 times. So we've got a total of 7 of these, 1 for each level. Drag them out. Don't worry about arranging them all. Just make sure the left and the right are tucked right into the top corners. We need to select them all at once. So click the first one, hold Control and click on the others. You'll see the little filter comes up to show that you're all selected. Then go up to Format in the ribbon, find a line and then a line top, but keep them selected. While you're there, go in and also distribute horizontally. Power BI will arrange them pixel perfect all the way along the top row. It's a great wee trick, this. The first one's fine, leave that alone. Go to the second one and then your filter pane, update the filter from 3 to 4. Don't leave 3 on as well because it will show you 3 and 4. Go to title and update to SCQF4. As you work along and repeat the process for the other cards, you'll see Power BI leaves the title field open. It's quite handy. It just means you can bash through and do it quite quickly. Now, we know the cards refer to the number of SCQF levels, but don't assume our user does. What we could do is update every single title to number of SCQF3, number of SCQF4, and so on. But that would be messy. It would make a dashboard untidy. Much better just to add a text box and cover it all in one text box. So if you go up to the ribbon and find Insert, and insert a text box and drag it right out so it fills the page, add number of classes per SCQF level, update the font size. My titles are center aligned, so I've done the same with the text box. You just match whatever you've got on your titles. Format paint. And text boxes are a great way for the user just to add a wee bit of explanation into your dashboards. Now remember, we are not making pictures. These are all interactive visual representations of the data. So what if the user wanted to know the SCQF level by an individual college? In the space below, we're going to add a slicer. As you can see there's a new version of slicer, but for this one, we'll just use the simple one. So choose slicer, the one in the middle of your visualizations, and add the field college and format paint. Depending on the data type, whether there's numbers, text, and so on, there's different options. The default for text is this little checkbox, vertical list. But there's only 6 options here. Tiles is a much more user-friendly. It becomes like a little visual remote control. So in slicer settings, update from vertical list to tile. I also tend to turn off the slicer heading and then add a title instead. Just makes your whole dashboard consistent. Now, you and I both know what a slicer is, but your user might not. So instead of college slicer, filter by college is a lot less ambiguous. It encourages the user then to filter by college. And click one of them, all of your cards will filter. Click that again and it will remove. To finish this dashboard, we'll have a little column chart putting SCQF levels in both the X and the Y axis format paint. Notice anything wrong? Hopefully. The number of SCQF levels in our cards was fairly consistent, but if you look at our column chart, obviously it's not. Remember, Power BI doesn't care. It describes the level, so it's held as a number is automatically summoned. So update the y-axis to count, and now it looks a little bit more like it should. Your slicer now filters all the column charts as well. Slicers are great. You can add multiple slicers on. As I say, think of them as little remote controls, and you can attach them to multiple sheets as well. Yeah. What can I say? It's been a long day recording videos. Apologies for that. Nothing to do with data modeling. There's a little overview of data modeling. I'll let you read that one through. But basically, your data model is where you join all the different data sets together and you get much more cohesive, much more in-depth analysis. If you remember back to our very first video, the modeling is done in the third view down. Now currently, we've only got that one data set in there. So we're going to bring in another one. It's on the same starter file. Get data from Excel and navigate to the starter file. And this time we're going to bring in college list. If you click it, you'll get your little summary on the right hand side. You might notice something's a bit weird here. This quite often happens. It hasn't recognized that college is the column header. So we're going to fix that on the way in. So instead of load, click transform. And this will open up the Power Query editor, very similar to those who used the Excel Power Query, and use first row as headers. Make sure that that data set's selected. It should be by default, but if it isn't, select the college list, use first row as headers, click close and apply, and that'll apply our changes back into Power BI. Go to model view and you'll see this. Power BI is guessed rightly in this case, they should be joined on the college field. If you notice, one of them's got a 1, one of them's got an asterisk. If you haven't done databases before, it means there's one instance of each of the colleges in the college list and many in the main data set. Just means one-to-many relationship. If it hadn't already joined them and we want them to, you just drag the field that you want to join from one data set and drop it on top of the other. Okay, start a new page. We'll use these and visual, clustered column chart. This time the x-axis, use college from your new summary table and completion rate and legend from the other one. As the data sets are joined, we can pick fields from one to compare in the other. Give it a wee tidy up. You know what to do here. But the summary table is a great way. What I've done here, I try and do this quite a lot. If I've got a range of columns, I pick a range of the same colour, in this case purples, and it just makes it a little bit more consistently designed across. So as I say, if we had 3 years worth of the college completion rates and we wanted to compare across those 3 years, one summary table joined to all three, make it nice and easy. But I'm going to show you how to create one. Go back to your Excel, look for the field course name. We could just retype everything, but please don't. Select that in tile column and copy paste to a new sheet, but please leave it selected for just now. Then go to data in the ribbon and find remove duplicates. It might be hidden. If you're on a small screen, the ribbon tends to be a bit condensed. So you just hover over it and you'll find it, click remove duplicates, press OK, and you'll be left with this. It's a great little tip this. You can't retype anything wrongly. You can't add spaces in. It's just a great way of making a summary table. We're going to connect that in a minute. So close your Excel spreadsheet down. Remember, we can't join it while it's open. And then attach your new summary table into Power BI. You might have to transform, use first rows headers, but you know what to do. Now your model view should look like this. We've got 2 summary tables now attached. Refile and save, and a wee cup of tea. Hope all that made sense. Come back in a wee minute. Thanks, Ed.